Hey guys, what is up and welcome to today's video. I hope you guys are doing amazing. Today I'm starting off with an already made sketch and setting up the camera because today we are not doing just a little calligraphy. We are doing a very detailed doodle today. And I found this on Pinterest, by the way. It was a digital illustration, all black and white. It was entirely digital, which I decided to create in today's video. So as you guys can see, it's a very detailed doodle that we're working with. It's like Quran Pak, and it's dome of masjid, and it has a lot of details. Also Khana Kaaba, as you guys can see. So I had to work with a fine liner, or you guys can use a micron pen if you plan on doing Inktobers. This is an Inktober style doodle that we're doing here. And I've already done a Inktober style doodle. I think it was a calligraphy. I think I've done like twice here on this channel, which were just basically calligraphies. So anyways, I found this and I decided to create it, and it was very detailed, so I could not really record the entire process of me creating this. So I ended up just showing a little bit of highlight and me creating the outline of this doodle. And for the calligraphy touch, I ended up writing down a very rough Allahu Akbar right next to this entire doodle, which, by the way, I ended up filling in with the black fine liner at the end. I ended up filling it in and fixing the rough part of the calligraphy that I wrote down. It's a very little one. It's not really a calligraphy video today, which is something that I have mentioned that I'll be doing. So here it is. Finally, we're doing a very detailed doodle today. This was extremely therapeutic and very much fun to work with. I could not record the entire process. I really wanted to, but for the most part, I decided to start off with just the outline of this entire doodle, and I ended up doing the rest off camera. When it came to shading, I did not do the entire doodle for some reason. I just thought that that would make the video entire long. So it would make it too long, and I did not want that. I did not want to bore you guys. So I decided to just stick to, the outline on camera, and I ended up scribbling off camera. However, I did ended up showing a little part of me when I was, adding some highlight and color into this doodle. So that was a lot of fun. One thing that I really liked about this doodle was the fact that in places where there was supposed to be calligraphy, like in the cover of the Quran Pak and the Khana Kaaba, there were scribbles, which was absolutely a very great vibe. Also, we have like cats meowing outside of our house. So if you hear them, ignore them. I'm trying to do the voiceover and they're just outside meowing, and I tried to shut them up, but they didn't. So I want you to ignore it because how can I make them shut up when they're not shutting up? So anyway. Yes, so I absolutely liked this part of this entire doodle, that there were scribbles in the parts of calligraphy. So yes, it was detailed, but it had like, the Inktober effect of shading and scribbling. And so the scribbling part was in the calligraphy parts of this doodle, which was absolutely amazing. I did not, of course, copy the entire shading part. I did it off camera. I did just did it like how I thought that it would be suitable. Like this part of the dome that I'm doing here, it did not turned out how it was actually in the reference that I used from Pinterest. Most of the references that I use are all from Pinterest. So if you guys, I'm pretty sure the people that use Pinterest or do Islamic art, they look for inspo, they may or may not have seen this on Pinterest. I forgot to give credits, and I'm so sorry. I forgot to look for the resource and where it was, but it was a digital reference, so I'm sorry if I haven't really mentioned it, but it is from Pinterest. Someone had already made a digital vector illustration, I think it was. So yes, this is not an original idea, but it is a original doodle that I'm doing on like the page myself. I recreated it basically. So I am not trying to be like, oh my god, this is the original piece that I just thought of myself and combined together. With Inktober's, you have to combine pieces and stuff. So I don't really do that or go with that. But anyways, here I've shown a little footage of me showing, some parts of this entire doodle that I've scribbled and added color and shaded into. As you guys can see, And by the way, this project was quite long for me, so it's the reason why I wasn't able to post past few weeks. I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks, yeah, that I wasn't able to post on Thursday. My videos come on Thursday, by the way. Here is a little bit of a close-up to how the scribbles are done, so in case someone wants to create it, they will know what I did with the pen. I tried to copy the digital reference was, but I tried my best. Was only able to copy like some parts of it, but the rest I just ended up, scribbling. I tried to keep it as similar as I possibly could though, because it was just amazing the way how it looked, and yeah. And it's the reason why I did it off camera. Also, the angle here is very weird. I was sitting on a couch and just scribbling away because I found it therapeutic, adding some shading. So I thought I would show you guys that I did it off camera, but I did show some footage, so we're not completely losing here. And so once this was done, I sort of came to a conclusion that let's just record some part of me, filling into this doodle. So I ended up, creating these lines in the pages of the Quran that it's created in this doodle. And it was a bit of a task. It was supposed to be like very clear lines, but I just decided to go with rough because, who's gonna go in like with, this much detail. I just thought let's just scribble away because, even rough lines look really great when, you create a book effect. It, it's just one of my personal opinions. But anyways, here we are. Did a little bit of close up here. And the AllahuAkbar that you guys are seeing is actually from the tower of one of the sketches that I found on Pinterest, which was in the tower of the clock base of the Saudi. It was kind of cute to put it right there next to this entire doodle. I thought that it would be cute, so that's what I did. And yeah, it looks pretty cool so far. I'm adding the shading here. And I also recorded the scribbles, the scribbling part in which I did it here, the Quran, as you guys can see. It's just random scribbles that you guys, you can easily do. I had to leave some parts in the corners and the edges to make sure that the effect of, the scribbles was there. And I think it's also to make it look clean. So, yep, that's what we did. Added some more shading and some more of those scribbles, and then came the part where I finally got the chance to color into the Tasbeeh. So I started going in, adding some shading into the corners, some corners, and added some effects of making it look like a Tasbeeh because that was necessary. I mean, it did look like a Tasbeeh, but of course we have to make it a little bit more prominent, and there were shading like how they were supposed to be. So I ended up adding some thickness into the outer border lines of the Tasbeeh, and I added in some shading, created some effects of making it look like as if I had, make it given that effect of like little beads. So that's what we did. Let me know in the comments below if you guys liked this doodle. I really enjoyed making this. This took me a while, but it was a lot of fun. I might consider doing more Inktovers, but let me know if you guys would like to see them on camera or off camera, or just like how I created today. I would really love to record the entire process on camera, but it's just so much work, and I want to really get into the details and show the clarity of the work that I do. And I just think that if I record the entire process, then that just simply wouldn't be possible. I don't know, it's just something that I think. Maybe it's not the way how I think, maybe it's going to turn out into something else, but it's just my personal preferences maybe that I end up thinking like that. I get stupid at times. So yeah, the beats are getting their effects here, as you guys can see. I decided to record this entire footage because this was just fun, and I thought that you guys would be interested in watching it on how the scribbles of the pen work when you are trying to create some effects. And because the rest of them just required some lines and some, color, the one that I did not record on camera, by the way. So I just thought that I would mention it's a lot more fun to just simply put in parts that you find important, or that you find valuable enough to highlight into the videos. I'm kind of like that because me personally, I have a very short attention span, so I want things to be very quick. and I just want to show parts which I find very, okay, you know what, let's just put this part in and let's just cut this part out. That's the kind of person I am. So that's why I edit the video or create the videos the way I do. And yeah, here I started to color in the AllahuAkbar calligraphy. I have created like the very first voiceover video. It's still not out on the channel. I will be posting it very soon. It was my very first voiceover. It was quite rough, but one of the major things that I did in it was that it was also a slightly more detailed calligraphy than I normally do on the channel. So that was also pre-created before I started recording. I had already created the pencil outline, and then later on in the video I started to show the entire painting process and the entire coloring process. It was pretty cool, and I did the same thing in that. So yes, with detailed artwork I don't really normally show on camera. Maybe if I were to show it, I would have to do separate weekly videos. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, or if what I'm doing is fine to you and you would just like to see me do the artwork and you guys are not interested in, wanting to know the entire process of how I create what I create. So yeah, here I am just finishing up coloring into the calligraphy. As you guys can see, it's a little mini calligraphy that I wrote. It was really fun to just switch up the style a little bit. Next part was the Khana, and I was looking for tools that could possibly color in to this final part, but once I got a little bit fed up of me coloring in with the pen, I decided to switch to an acrylic paint marker. So that's what I did. I did the parts where there were corners because I did not want it to mess them up. So then later into the bigger gaps, I went in with the acrylic marker. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.